I spent 6 years building what I thought would save me. The day I got it, I felt nothing. Not relief, not joy, just silence. If this sounds familiar, you're not broken. You're experiencing something psychology rarely names. It's not burnout. It's not ingratitude. It's what happens when the identity you built on striving disappears. This is Quiet Direction. I'm here to explore what nobody else will say out loud. Today, we're talking about the void that opens up when you finally get what you wanted. Let's begin. Here's the pattern. You set a goal. Maybe it's a degree, a promotion, a relationship, a business milestone. You tell yourself, once I get this, everything will make sense. So you work, you sacrifice, you delay everything else because this one thing matters more. And then you get it, and you feel empty. Not disappointed, not ungrateful, just hollow. Like someone pulled a floor out from under you, and you're standing in midair, waiting for the fall. Everyone around you celebrates. They say, "You did it," and you smile, you nod. But inside, there's just quiet. This isn't rare, it's common. But most people don't talk about it because it sounds wrong. How do you tell someone you got what you wanted and it solved nothing? How do you explain that the achievement you thought would define you left you more lost than before? You can't, so you stay silent. You keep moving, you set another goal. You tell yourself the next one will be different. But the pattern repeats. Achievement, emptiness, another goal, more emptiness, until you realize this isn't about the goals. It's about what you built your identity on, and what happens when that foundation disappears. So why does this happen? Why does success, real, tangible success, create a psychological void? 3 reasons. First, identity collapse. When you spend years working towards something, that pursuit becomes your identity. You're not just a person. You're the person working toward X. That identity gives you structure, direction, a sense of who you are. But when you achieve it, that identity evaporates. You're no longer the person striving. You're just someone who got there. And if you don't know who you are without the pursuit, you're left with nothing. Second, pressure removal. For years, you had something driving you forward, a clear target, a reason to wake up. That pressure was uncomfortable, but it was also stabilizing. It told you what mattered, what to focus on, what to ignore. When the goal is achieved, the pressure lifts, and suddenly, you have to decide what matters now. No external force pushing you, no clear next step, just open space and silence. For some people, that freedom feels like falling. Third, meaning loss. Most goals are built on a hidden assumption. Once I achieve this, my life will have meaning. But meaning doesn't work that way. Meaning isn't something you unlock. It's something you construct. And if you built your entire sense of meaning around achieving one thing, that meaning collapses the moment you get it. Because the achievement itself doesn't generate meaning. The pursuit did. So when the pursuit ends, the meaning ends too. And you're left asking, what now? With no good answer. Let's talk about what's actually happening in your mind. Post-achievement depression isn't a clinical diagnosis, but it's a real psychological phenomenon. It shows up in athletes after major competitions, in students after graduation, in entrepreneurs after exits. Anywhere someone builds their identity around a goal and then reaches it, here's what happens. Your brain is wired to seek, to pursue, to move towards something. Dopamine, the neurotransmitter associated with motivation, spikes during pursuit, not achievement. When you're working toward a goal, your brain is flooded with it. You feel energized, focused. But when you achieve the goal, the dopamine drops. And if you don't have another pursuit to replace it, you crash. That's the biological side. The psychological side is deeper. Achievement reveals something uncomfortable. The goal was never the point. What you really wanted was the feeling you thought the goal would give you. Security, validation, relief, purpose. But those feelings don't come from external achievements. They come from internal stability. And if you don't have that stability, if you've been running from something instead of building towards something, the achievement won't fix it. It just exposes the gap. This is why people spiral after major wins. They expected transformation. They got confirmation. Confirmation that they're still the same person, with the same doubts, the same fears. The achievement didn't change them, and that realization destroys them. So they do what anyone would do. They set another goal, a bigger one, a harder one. Because if this one didn't work, maybe the next one will. But the pattern repeats, because the problem isn't the goal. It's the belief that external success can solve internal emptiness. It can't. Achievement can change your circumstances, but it can't construct your meaning. Only you can do that. And that's the hardest part, because it means sitting with the emptiness instead of running from it. It means asking, what do I actually want? Not what I'm supposed to want. Not what will impress people. Not what will prove I'm enough. What do I actually want? Most people never ask that question, because the answer is terrifying. But it's the only way out. So where does this leave us? If achievement doesn't create meaning, and goals lead to emptiness, what's the alternative? Direction without destination. This doesn't mean giving up goals. It means changing your relationship to them. Goals become tools, not identities. They point you somewhere, but they don't define you. The meaning isn't in crossing the finish line. It's in walking the path. This sounds abstract, but it's practical. It means building a life where your sense of self doesn't collapse when the goal does. Where you're not running from emptiness, you're learning to sit with it. Post-achievement depression isn't a bug, it's a signal. It's your mind telling you, this isn't it. Listen to it. That's all for today. If this resonated, I'll be here next Sunday. Until then, stay quiet, stay directed.